The global balance of power is shifting faster than ever before. And now, with one single announcement, Donald Trump has sent shockwaves through the world's financial system. The newly elected U.S. president has just declared a 100% tariff on all goods coming from the BRICS nations. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. This move, bold and risky, could trigger the biggest trade and currency war in modern history. But why is Trump doing this now? And what does it really mean for the global economy, and for ordinary people like us? Let's find out. For decades, the US dollar has been the undisputed king of the global economy. It's been the world's reserve currency since World War II, used in everything from oil deals to international loans. But the BRICS alliance has been quietly working to change that. Their goal? To break free from America's financial dominance and build a new system, one that puts the global south on top. This alliance isn't small. Together, BRICS nations control 35% of global GDP when measured by purchasing power parity, more than half of the world's population, and enormous amounts of the world's energy, agriculture, and rare minerals. In short, if BRICS succeeds, the US could lose the power it's held for nearly 80 years, and Trump, he's not letting that happen without a fight. In a fiery speech, Trump announced that he would impose a 100% tariff on all goods coming from BRICS nations. That means if a Chinese phone costs $1,000, American importers would now have to pay another $1,000 in taxes. If Indian pharmaceuticals, Russian oil, or South African gold enter the US, they'd be taxed to the point of becoming unaffordable. Trump called it a move to protect American workers and bring jobs home. But economists say there's much more behind this. This isn't just about trade. It's about defending the dollar and maintaining America's position as the world's economic leader. For decades, the world has traded in US dollars. Countries store their reserves in dollars. Oil is sold in dollars. And global debt, even outside the US, is mostly measured in dollars. This has allowed Washington to print and spend almost freely, while other nations depend on its currency. But BRICS has been building a different future. China has been pushing for trade in yuan. Russia has been selling oil in rubles and gold. India has been buying energy from Moscow using its own currency. And together, BRICS has created the new development bank, a direct alternative to the IMF and World Bank, both traditionally led by the West. Their message is clear. We don't want to depend on America anymore. And now, the talk of creating a BRICS currency, possibly backed by gold, has made Washington extremely nervous. Because if the world starts trading in another currency, the dollar's power and America's influence could collapse overnight. So, what happens when you tax your biggest rivals? On one hand, Trump's 100% tariffs could protect US industries. American factories could reopen, jobs could return home, and "Made in the USA" could become the new slogan of the decade. But there's another side to this story. Many US industries rely on cheap materials and products from BRICS nations, especially China and India. From electronics and car parts to medical supplies and clothing, cutting these imports will make production more expensive. That means prices for everyday Americans could rise sharply, inflation could surge again, and global trade tensions could spiral out of control. Economists warn that this could trigger a new Great Depression, or at the very least, a major slowdown in the global economy. But Trump's team believes it's a necessary risk, a short-term pain for long-term gain. The BRICS nations aren't sitting quietly. Russia and China have already deepened their trade alliance. India is expanding its market ties with Africa and the Middle East. And Iran, one of BRICS's newest members, is offering oil in exchange for gold and digital currencies. Meanwhile, China is quietly developing a digital yuan, a state-controlled currency that could bypass the global banking system altogether. This would allow BRICS countries to trade without using US banks or the SWIFT network. If this system gains traction, the dollar's dominance could fade faster than anyone expects. In short, Trump's tariffs might not stop BRICS. They could actually speed up the creation of a new global financial order. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. This isn't just an economic rivalry. It's a fight for global influence. For the past century, the West, led by the United States, has set the rules of world trade, finance, and politics. But BRICS represents the rise of a new world, a world led by developing nations that no longer want to play by Washington's rules. Putin and Xi Jinping have both said openly, the era of Western dominance is ending. And with the global economy becoming more divided, we could see a future with two competing systems. One led by the US and its allies, and another led by BRICS and the global South. So, how does this affect you? Well, if you live in America, prices could go up for electronics, vehicles, and imported goods. If you live in Asia or Africa, you might see stronger economic ties with BRICS nations. And if you invest in global markets, prepare for volatility. The next few years could be unpredictable. This is not just about government policies. It's about the shape of the world you'll live in for decades to come. The collapse or survival of the US dollar will affect everything, from your job, your savings, to the cost of basic goods. Right now, both sides are testing their limits. Trump's tariffs are his opening move. BRICS de-dollarization efforts are their response. But the question remains, who will blink first? If BRICS can hold together, despite internal differences between India, China, and Russia, then the 21st century could become the BRICS century. But if Trump's aggressive trade policy succeeds, America could reassert its economic dominance for another generation. Either way, one thing is certain, the world will never go back to how it was before. We are witnessing a turning point in history, a financial war that could redefine global power. Donald Trump's 100% tariff threat isn't just about money. It's about control. It's about who gets to decide the future of the world economy. BRICS wants freedom from the West. America wants to stay on top. And somewhere in between, every nation is being forced to pick a side. The next few years will decide everything. The fate of the dollar, the balance of power, and perhaps the beginning of a new world order. What do you think? Will Trump's tariffs save America or backfire and push the world closer to BRICS? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more global updates, and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over. The tariff war has begun, and the world is watching.